On this week's episode of What's Up Weekly, we'll take you behind the scenes of a new clothing store on Kirkwood that is quickly gaining popularity.
And we sit down with Tailored Thrifts, a local clothing store run by an IU student. What's Up Weekly starts now. Hello and welcome to What's Up Weekly. I'm Callie Lichter.
And I'm Lucy Kellison. What's Up Weekly reporter Lucinda Larnick is in studio to tell us all about Hoosier A1 Vintage, a new IU fashion store on Kirkwood. Lucinda?
Thanks, guys. While IU's football team may not have been winning this season, the game day fits have been, and it might just be because of one of IU's own vintage sellers, Hoosier A1 Vintage. Last week, I got the chance to meet the man of the moment and the face behind one of IU's most successful, sustainable fashion stores, Trey Humphrey. Take a look. Kirkwood has always been the place Hoosier fans go to get their game day gear, but a new kid on the block has got people talking. IU senior Trey Humphrey, known on social media as Hoosier A1 Vintage, has set up shop for passers-by to take home some true vintage Hoosier merch.
Everything is handpicked by me. Every single item is picked by me personally, no matter what.
A venture that comes from a place of passion for sustainable fashion. Humphrey sought out to make his store a place where college students could get quality Hoosier merch at the fraction of the cost.
You know, even at like a super nice IU crew neck, like in 2023 at Hoosier A1 Vintage, it's leagues above what you can get at Dick's Sporting Goods or Urban Outfitters or H&M for $60.
But it doesn't go without its hard work. As both a student and a business owner, Humphrey puts in the time to keep himself thriving.
You know, in entrepreneurship and, you know, this kind of like style of business that I do, the harder you work, the more consistent you are, the better you do.
But more so than anything, to be himself and do what he loves most.
Try to be out there, be myself, be authentic, be a real human being, be a real Hoosier.
And he's a true Hoosier at heart. You can check out more about Trey and the Vintage A1 Hoosier on Instagram at Hoosier A1 Vintage.
Thanks, Lucinda. It has been announced that the Taco Bell and KFC on 3rd Street and Pete Ellis Drive are planning on closing and being replaced with a car wash. The two operators of each fast food restaurant made plans that were publicized at the end of August to demolish both of the buildings. The car wash taking the place of these restaurants is roughly an 8,000 square foot building. Some Hoosiers are not looking forward to the possible demolition and worry about what this could mean for Taco Bell goers.
I was so shocked because I feel like they would make so much business if they just stayed open. And the KFC or the Taco Bell on Kirkwood, that one, like, I feel like it's only busy at night when there's like a lot of people around, but the one on 3rd Street is like busy all the time.
But before officially moving forward with the demolition, there still needs to be several approvals from one of Bloomington's zoning planners. So make sure to say your goodbyes in the form of a crunch wrap or an 8-piece combo because they'll likely be gone from the east side soon.
Still to come up on What's Up Weekly, we'll get you caught up on this week's trending topics.
That's right. Chris Evans tied the knot this past week, leaving Marvel fans and anyone with eyes incredibly disappointed.
And Olivia Rodrigo just released an album that some are calling more sour than the first one. All that coming up next.
Welcome back to Trending Topics. Okay, Lucy, first order of business, Chris Evans is married.
Oof.
I know. It was so tragic, but over the weekend on Friday, he got married to his girlfriend of possibly a year, Alba Baptista. Now, I'm saying possibly a year because their relationship was only officially announced in November. And in the post by Evans on his now deleted Instagram account, he said that they have been dating kind of, since November, like a year kind of previous to that.
Yeah. Well, isn't there a huge age gap between the two of them?
Yeah, there's 16 years between Alba and Chris, which has raised some red flags, especially with like older men in Hollywood dating these younger women. But they met when she was probably around 24 and he was around 40. So it's not that bad.
Okay. And, I hope their marriage goes well to some extent. If Chris needs somebody else to reconcile with him, I can be that support system for him.
Oh, and me too.
And speaking of hearts being ripped out of their chest like mine was with Chris Evans, let's talk about guts. Have you listened to Olivia Rodrigo's new album?
Yes, I've listened to some of the songs.
Okay, the album itself, phenomenal. This was kind of her Reputation era type of album.
Okay.
So the first Sour album was also based on a breakup, but it was more the sad parts of it. This is Olivia Rodrigo coming to be Olivia Rodrigo, saying she's done with childhood innocence. This new album only features a little bit of that fairy purple that she had in the first album, and now includes red, which people think means she's in her revenge era.
Oh my gosh, that's so iconic. I know right now, like, I'm starting to grow out of, like, you know, the childhood, like, bubblegum pop of, like, my teenage years. So I'm so excited to listen to, like, the rest of the album if she's entering this, like, Reputation, 20s, like, you know, bad girl era.
She's hitting all sides of the breakup. First the sad, and now the new era.
Oh, and I definitely need a new era.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and when we come back, we'll give you a first-hand look at a secondhand thrift store.
That's right. We have Sierra Scheinbaugh right here in studio to talk about her store, Tailored Thrifts. Stay with us.
Back now with Sierra. Sierra, thank you so much for being here with
thank
us
you for
today.
having me.
And we saw that Tailored Thrifts just opened a couple weeks ago, and congratulations,
Yes,
by the way.
Thank you. It opened August 18th.
Great. And then, like, how did you, like, start thrifting?
Right, absolutely. So I started actually with my mom when I was younger, and originally I wanted to be a fashion designer. So I would find like vintage 80s prom dresses and just like rip them apart and try to resew them and create something new. And I did that for a long time until I realized I wasn't the best seamstress. And so then I became more interested in the business side of fashion, and that's really what brought me to IU's merchandising program and minoring in the Kelly. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So it sounds like you've had this passion for quite a while. Can you talk
Yes.
about what it was like turning that dream into an actual reality in a business?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say about 2 years ago, I would always, source things for like my friends and family and find fun things. And I was interested in styling and things like that. So I decided, well, why not just try to start an online business and see how it goes? So I made my own online website and began advertising on my Instagram and TikTok and things like that. And word of mouth kind of started to spread. And then I started doing pop-up shops around Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, and Bloomington. And I began to get some of a following. And so that kind of gave me the confidence of, oh, maybe I can actually do this. And so that's kind of what pushed me to continue this journey. And then I found the right space, the retail space, and then I just took a leap, and it's been going great since then.
It's always like that snowball effect. Like you
Yes.
never know where it's going to lead you,
Yes,
right?
and originally I wanted to wait till after graduation until I opened something of my own, but this place came along, and I just thought, well, if I don't jump, like, I'm just going to stay in the same place, so I did.
That's awesome.
And I guess moving away from the dream a little bit to the actual pieces.
Yes.
I know that, like you were saying, you get such an attachment to pieces and you really you think about it before you purchase something. So how do you curate your pieces?
Right. So I kind of have these collections like built in my head, and also on my website I have things organized by aesthetic, because I'm the type of person who doesn't always like to dress within the same style. So I have like an old money aesthetic, which is more timeless and classy pieces featuring like Ralph Lauren and things like that. And then I have more of a trendier, what's happening right now, what we're seeing. And then I also have more of a boho themed, kind of fun and funky 1970s colors. So that's kind of how I start to curate, and I just fill those collections in, and I find things that work.
Wow, that's awesome. So you've officially started this whole shop up in Bloomington, not even graduated. What drew you to stay in Bloomington?
I would say the market, especially because I think my best market is with students, especially having the ability to speak within the merchandising program as well, and being involved with the retail studies organization. And I would say the market definitely decided to keep me here. So.
And then I guess this is kind of like a two-part question. The first part is, what is your favorite item you've ever found? And then if you could find any piece in the world, what would it be?
Ooh, okay. So my favorite piece I found was a vintage Fendi baguette beaded handbag. It was blue with like white crystals, stunning. And it had all the original tags, where they bought it from, the authentication, all of that stuff. And where I found it is a hilarious story. I was driving through the middle of nowhere in northern Indiana, and I was on a highway, and I saw, antique store, so of course I pull off the road, and I'm looking, and I just see it on this dusty shelf. I'm like, this does not deserve to be here. So I scooped that thing, brought it back, and posted it on my website, and it sat there for a while because it's a higher end item. But when it sold, it was hard to see it go. I sold it to some woman in New Jersey, and I hope she's enjoying it now. I don't know her personally, but yeah, that was definitely the best thing I've ever found. What else is on my wish list is I do have some Chanel handbags, but I haven't found that like classic flap Chanel handbag, which, I mean, those you really have to, so you can't just go to a normal thrift store. You have to go to certain events and things, but I would say probably a classic flap Chanel handbag.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah, well, Callie and I were just talking about how much we love all these pieces.
Yeah.
How bad we want to actually go to the store. So for anyone like us, where are you located and how do we find your pieces?
So I'm located at 129 North Washington Street, and so if you're on Kirkwood and the CVS on Kirkwood, you just go right up that street next to Baked Cookies. So right next to there, it's a smaller store. It's 504 square feet. So, and it used to be the old shoe cobbler's place, and so it's kind of actually like below ground level. So when I was first in there looking at the space, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in like a closet or something. But I was able to transform it, really open it up, and I did that by having a bunch of mirrors, and so that makes the space bigger. And then also my rack fixtures are kind of like abstract against the wall, so they're not right in the middle of the floor, so it really opens up the space. So.
Awesome.
Well, I personally can't wait to go and check it out. I mean, that vest is calling my name.
It's a fun one.
Yeah. And just, again, thank you so much for coming in and bringing in some gorgeous pieces.
Of course. Yeah, thank you for having me.
And after the break, What's Up Weekly correspondent Grace Morocco joins us in studio to bring us the latest on Hoosiers in the news. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Our correspondent Grace Morocco bringing us the latest on Hoosier alumni who are making waves outside of Bloomington. In our new segment we like to call Hoosiers in the News. Grace?
Thanks, Lucy and Callie. This week's U.S. Open was historic, and not just because of Coco Gauff's win. The celebrity seating chart will go down as a historic moment in pop culture history. Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet officially hard-launched their relationship with a PDA-filled appearance, sealing romance rumors with a kiss. And who was in front of them to witness it all? IU alum Laverne Cox. Cox spent 2 years at IU before transferring, but once a Hoosier, always a Hoosier. She's stunned in a purple top while making conversation with the bear Ebon Moss Bachrock. I wish I could have taken her place to get all the juicy T-Shao Jenner drama. After drawing criticism for continuing his shows amid the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes, director and producer Ryan Murphy is raising money for his team. Murphy took to Instagram Friday to announce the Ryan Murphy Productions Assistant Fund, which, quote, stands ready to support the exceptional cast and committed crews of Ryan Murphy Productions, end quote. He committed $500,000 at launch. The fund is not just for current cast and crew members. The funds are open to all members from all of his iconic series, including Glee, The Prom, The Politician, American Horror Story, Scream Queens, and many others. Ryan Murphy was a journalist during his undergrad days at IU and was a member of the Singing Hoosiers. And that's all for Hoosiers in the News. Back to you.
Thanks, Grace. And that's what's up this week. Tune in next week for more local and entertainment news.
Be sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News.
For What's Up Weekly, I'm Lucy Kellison.
And I'm Callie Lichter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.